I'm Sean Fennessey.
I'm Amanda Dobbins.
And this is the Big Picture, a conversation show about Black Bag. Today we are talking about Steven Soderbergh's newest film, his second of 2025, and honestly, one of his best in years. We're also talking about the amazing career of one of this movie's stars, Cate Blanchett. We will build her Hall of Fame, long overdue, I would say, as an episode on this show. I'm not sure what the fuck I was thinking, waiting this long to do a Cate Hall of Fame. She's had quite a career. She loves to work, my goodness.
Yes. The last time we would have done it would have been for Tar. And were we doing Hall of Fames then?
We were, but I think we were just so tar-pilled that we were like, maybe another 9 hours on the text of Tar. Nevertheless, we are talking about Cate today. Any news out there in the world for you want to talk about before we get into this movie and this career? Just tooling around on the internet. Nikki Glaser returning to the Golden Globes to host once again.
I accept.
She was dynamite, I thought, the first time around. Just mean enough, I would say, was her energy. And I tell you what, if we got Nikki Glaser and Conan O'Brien for the next 2 or 3 years, that'd be great. I'd be very pleased with that.
I'm open.
I never say that.
Does that change whether you'd like to attend the shows?
I don't want to go to the Globes. I have no interest. The Oscars, I'm feeling the pull.
You're ready?
I'm feeling the draw. Yeah.
Okay.
I was on my friend Katie Rich's show last week to talk about some takeaways from the Academy Awards, and she was there. And just even hearing her talk about it as someone who, like us, has been obsessed for years. I think I'd like to go. And if Conan is there, all the better. Nikki, she's good with the celebs, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't care about me. She doesn't give a shit. That's not what that's about. She needs to burn them down. I have you to burn me down on this show every week.
Could we just create our own Golden Globes? Just like heavy drinking? and then we record a podcast?
You mean just start recording it? It's already kind of happening these days. I'm happy about the Nikki Glaser thing. You're happy? You're okay with it?
Sure, yeah. Okay. I liked her. You know, I learned who she was, and then I watched the show, and I was like, "Good job, Nikki Glaser."
Did you go back to the Tom Brady roast?
No, I didn't. Okay. You know, I'm looking forward.
Okay.
So
I'll be roasting Tom Brady going forward on this show on a weekly basis because he sucks at calling football games.
He's so bad.
Yeah, terrible. Also,
really bad.
Part owner of the Raiders. Not really sure how that works.
Okay.
Don't think that's great. He did trade for Geno Smith in this offseason. Are you aware of that?
I think I saw something about it. Was Geno Smith a Jet?
He was a Jet some years ago.
Okay.
About 10 years ago.
And then
he famously got punched in the face by a teammate because of some misdeeds during a card game.
Okay.
That sort of led to his demise as a Jet. He eventually revived his career in Seattle. He was in a solid top 15 QB.
Oh, so that's why our friend Mina Kimes was tweeting about it.
She's got some feelings about it.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, they replaced Geno Smith, former Jet, with Sam Darnold, former Jet. This has been the Ringer Fantasy Football Podcast.
Sam
Thanks for
Darnold
joining
did
us.
not punch Geno Smith in the face.
He did not, though. That seems like an intriguing story that we could develop. No, he followed Geno as the QB of the team. He also failed, as all Jets QBs do.
Have you ever punched anyone in the face as a result of a card game?
Oh, no. I have. I've thrown a punch or two. No. And it's probably been decades since I've thrown a punch.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say more than decades.
Speaking of card games, you and I are going to Las Vegas in a few weeks.
Nice. Look at you, the segue queen.
Thank you so much. Well, so should I gamble? And like, will you like be the my guide to the? I mean, I'm not gonna like play cards.
Right.
That seems very stressful. But like slot machines, like, should I get in the mix? Amanda's first Vegas trip.
Slot machines are for suckers, so I would not recommend that.
All right, Bobby's also. Well, guys, I do like. I'm going to Vegas. We're gonna do it, right? So Vegas.
Yeah.
So she's not there to like win return on investment. She's there to have fun. Slot machines could be fun, Amanda. You could get into that.
Slot machines are just a video game. Get in the action. Get on a table. Touch some felt.
I feel very nervous about going to a table.
I get it, but like you're gonna lose money either way, so accept it. Just walk in. This is what I personally.
But
try
I don't
to do.
like doing things wrong. You know,
I know that about you. And yet you persist on this show.
Yeah, it's true.
I think you should walk in and say, "I have saved $500 this month to lose, to learn and have fun."
What about if I gamble with your money?
I see no real reason why I would agree to that. I think that Vegas is a weird place for you. But I look forward to seeing how you get in the mix.
Do you feel responsible at all?
To you?
Like for my experience in Vegas?
Under no circumstances.
That's tough. I'm going to need you to
I want to help you.
Yeah.
But I don't feel responsible. Like if you ask me, like, can we do stuff together? Of course.
Right.
But I'm not like, if you get arrested, I'm not bailing you out.
No. That's not what I mean. But I just like, Are you
really not going to bail her out if she ggets arrested?
No, she'll have to rot.
That's like one of the things you're supposed to do for your friends.
No, well, casino jail is also different from Nevada.
It's like Eagles jail.
It is, honestly. It's like under the safe. Yeah, it's under the stadium.
No, I just meant like, are you going into this trip thinking, because you're like a Vegas expert?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm a huge fan.
Yeah,
I love Vegas.
So you're going to be an ambassador to me.
The problem is, and we'll probably go through all of this when we go to Vegas to talk about CinemaCon. You know, our pals Matt Bellany and Craig Horlbeck are going too.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do some crossover stuff while we're there. We're going to hear about all the new movies that the studios have coming, which is why this trip is happening. You've never been. And I think the problem with CinemaCon, and frankly, most Vegas trips, is most of what you need is in the casino that you're probably staying in.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this case, we're staying at Caesar's Palace where they're holding this event.
Right.
There's like 40 restaurants in the casino. You know, there's shopping, there's all kinds of pleasantries, there's entertainment, there's literally clubs that you can go to. Like, and I know you love to club. I
did actually forward you. Bruno Mars has a private club with what sounds like the world's greatest wedding cover band.
That could have gone anywhere.
Sure, that's really true.
Bruno Mars has a private club with the world's greatest.
Sure. ... That's true. Also, it's just like where he's paying off his debts.
So you could do that, yeah.
I forwarded you this info and I was like, let's go. And you were just like, lol. You weren't even engaging with me.
Yeah, Bruno Mars, much like slot machines, is for losers. We don't play in that game.
The cover. It's like it's a cover band, the world's greatest wedding cover. Where is your sense of fun? You know, like where is Sean, who drove us to Shortstop in 2019?
He's dead. He died in 2021, July of 2021. He's gone now. No,
let's find him again.
Everybody has their own version of Vegas fun. I suspect that yours and mine might be a little different, but we'll look for intersections just as we will look for intersections in our discussion of Cate Blanchett on this podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. There will be a lot of Vegas conversation to come in the future. Let's talk about Black Bag.
Okay.
This is Soderbergh's second movie of the year. As I mentioned, this is his 36th feature film as a director, which is remarkable, even for somebody who started in the late 80s as he did. It stars Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, Marissa Abella, Tom Burke, Naomi Harris, Regé-Jean Page, and Pierce Brosnan. All kinds of Amanda flares going off in this movie. It feels almost like it was made for you.
It does.
And we now know that Soderbergh knows who you are.
Well,
after my last conversation with him.
That's true. He just knows that I read.
He does know that you read.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned that you love spy fiction and spy stories, but you do. Of course, this is a high-level spy story. A very familiar story, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's about a couple who are a pair of married intelligence agents who are able to coexist in their relationship and in their professional careers when one of those agents is suspected of some misdeeds, of some rejection of national pride, then the other partner needs to determine whether or not that is true and how to protect or not protect their partner. Very slick, stylish, perhaps the most stylish Soderbergh movie in some time. A lot of his movies in recent years have felt very designed, but a little bit sterile and a little bit like, we made this fast.
Yes.
This feels like a little bit more of an old school Hollywood movie. It's clearly a more expensive movie. I already know what you thought of the movie, but what did you think of Black Bag?
To quote the great man himself, no notes. Just like absolutely no notes. It's perfect. And you're right. It was like, I don't want to say alarming because you need to like embrace things when they come to you, but I was like, did he make this for me? Like, did someone pass some notes? It is, as you said, incredibly stylish, both in like the Soderbergh filmmaking sense, but in the immaculate London townhouse, Michael Fassbender cooking and like his like Savile Row shirt, like whatever Cate Blanchett is wearing is, I mean, it looks like a lot of Phoebe Philo to me. They probably don't have that kind of budget, but it's just everything is like aesthetically beautiful, very funny. This is spy thriller by way of Agatha Christie. Which is also very much in my wheelhouse. And additionally, I just think this is a very romantic movie about marriage. I think it has great marital advice. I saw it on a great date movie. If you're in the kind of relationship that I'm in, my husband agreed, which was very happy. Just A+.
I really enjoyed it as well. I think The movie of his that this reminded me of, and this might seem maybe like not high praise, but is Side Effects.
Side Effects is slept on.
Very slept on and very, very slick, well made, has a very similar kind of like lighting technique where there's like a little bit of a glowy haze around the movie. I think some people will point to like, oh, is it like Haywire? Because Michael Fassbender's in it and it's kind of like a spy thing, but it's not that like kind of bare knuckle movie. Everything is very smooth. Everything is very rounded. The dialogue is very clever. The scripting and plotting is very witty and sharp and kind of keeps you on your toes. I would say I did not find this movie predictable at all, even though I've seen a ton of movies like this. I, for the most part, was surprised by the way that it played out. Dynamite casting. Just every single person in this movie is the right person for this part. Some people you may be more familiar with than others. Some are kind of making leaps to the big leagues out of the streaming prestige television era, you know, like Marissa Abella, like Regé-Jean Page, who people probably remember from the first season of Bridgerton. They're all great. Tom Burke, I think often underutilized, is fabulous in this movie. Very funny.
He is one of the great actors, but this movie like understands that and understands what he can do.
Yes.
Even without dialogue, even though every bit of dialogue is pitch perfect.
Pierce Brosnan also.
Yeah.
I would say playing with his persona. In an amusing way.
Well, so is the movie. And the movie is doing that with every single one of its actors, which is really fun. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Marissa Abella plays like a hacker, essentially.
An ops tech.
An ops tech, but she's in charge of getting into satellite systems and getting out of satellite systems, which is just, that's funny, you know?
Yeah. What do you mean? A beautiful woman can't do that job?
I mean,
what are you trying to say?
She's just in there, you know, with the code with Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do manage to turn like a hacking satellite scene into like a very sexy scene, but that's also a good joke.
I think almost exactly at this weekend last year, Marissa Abella was the star of a Focus Features film that I don't know if we were anticipating it, but it was at least a notable spring release. That was Back to Black. That movie was a huge bummer, and we talked about it on the show. And we tried to say, like, not really her fault. She tried her best. Kind of, this was like a no-win situation. I love her on Industry. I think she's like a real find.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch her go toe-to-toe with somebody like Fassbender, who is so comfortable in this part. And if you think that his character in The Killer is sort of like dry and monotone.
Yeah.
It makes that character look like Ace Ventura. Like this guy is so stiff and quiet and calculating. There's like a long sequence where he just fishes on a boat on a still lake. That is like the perfect metaphor for how he operates.
Yeah.
Fassbender, one of our favorites, of course, but he does have a little bit of a like, I can't access my real feelings quality in his persona. And so this is a good part for him.
It's perfect. And once like Soderbergh's great with actors, great with movie stars, understands both, understands how to get like acting and also, you know, presence and movie star shimmer out of people. But have you been watching The Agency?
I haven't, no.
So I still haven't finished it because I'm really bad at watching TV, but it is another spy thriller. It's a English language adaptation of Le Bureau de la Legende. That apparently in France you're supposed to say the full title.
Okay.
Which is an incredible show, like 5 seasons if you want to watch that. So, but he's also playing a spy. And the thing there is that he's supposed to play a spy who does have like very deep emotions, and how much does he? But like, how much is he feeling his emotions? How much is he going to betray his emotions? Does he have emotions? Does he not? You have to telegraph like a lot of different layers of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is a better fit for Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, you know, the only real like true interiority I think he's amazing at conveying is like agony.
Yes.
You know, like in Shame or in Hunger, this sort of like dedication to his own pain by way of his own point of view or ethics or trauma or whatever. He excels at that. If not that,
and
charming on the outside or still on the outside.
Also anger, I think, which can be related to
I think that's
pain.
related to the agony. Yeah. This is an interesting fit for him. You know, it's very obviously a riff on not just Bond. There's some like kind of MI5 stuff going on in this.
There's definitely some from Tinker Tailor.
And plenty of, I was just going to say, there's Le Carré is a huge influence on this
Yeah.
movie. And then there's also, it's almost like a meta text for Soderbergh, like looking at his history of these certain kinds of thrillers and him being like, I can do one of these Michael Caine movies too. Like I'm also capable of, it's weird because he makes movies that are obvious homages or clearly inspired. They don't duplicate the feeling, you know, like there's always like a little twist on the story.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember, obviously Mr. and Mrs. Smith is a movie that is like this in description at least.
Right.
But I couldn't think of another movie with a pair of agents that are matched in this way in the British tradition of spy storytelling.
I mean, obviously I'm sort of an expert on this, but it is primarily men. And the George Smileys of it all in the British tradition. I mean, he's even now that I think about it, Fassbender is even wearing like the Alec Guinness George Smiley glasses.
Yes,
so
the oversized black frames.
You know, the Soderbergh of it all, there are probably more, whether it's Out of Sight or Ocean's 11 and 12, in terms of romantic interests who are like circling each other and also legal and other consequences.
Yes. Are they participating, working together? Are they working against each other?
So, and how does that fuel their relationship and their connection? To me, it's more in Soderbergh lineage than any sort of spy or British spy, at least. The Brits are just about dudes.
One thing I really like about this movie is the dinner party scene at the very beginning, which sort of sets the table for this story, is really great. It did remind me a little bit of like the occasional Ringer dinner party where it's like a lot of us work together. It's a little bit, there's like some things that are spoken and some things that are unspoken at these dinners. There's like a tension, but also a sense of humor. It never gets quite as crazy as what transpires in this scene. But that workplace thing of like, all these people have known each other forever. They're all like a little too mean to each other. It's out of love.
Right.
They trust each other. Do they really trust each other? I think they trust each other, but then maybe they shouldn't trust each other.
Right.
The whole thing is like very, very tense and very funny and really riffing on like, it's kind of a workplace comedy in many ways. And it plays all that stuff to great effect. It's also just like a very believable set of relationships that intersect with each other to me. Especially, I thought Tom Burke and Marissa Abella's like...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, very familiar circumstance. A slightly younger woman in the workplace, a caddish fellow who, you know, can't keep his mouth shut or his zipper zipped. I don't, you know, it's an easy movie to recommend. It's a hard movie to discuss because once you start detailing the plotting, I think it really gives away a lot of the fun of the movie. But the plotting is not, it's not the reason to go to see the movie. The vibe and the energy, the performance, the way it looks, the style, you know, a classic Holmes score from a Soderbergh movie, which we haven't heard in a little while. They're always so great together. And then this is the third movie he's done with Koepp, who I think is a really great screenwriter. Don't always love his ideas, but when he's matched with someone really good, you tend to get really good results. He's obviously worked with Spielberg a number of times as well. So yeah, I think this is a great movie.
The concept of the black bag, just really good marriage advice, I think.
Let's explore that.
Yeah.
What is black bag?
So black bag is like a safe word for lack of a better, like a signal word that because these are two MI6 or MI5, I'm not really sure actually.
I always forget. If I've made a mistake, I'm not an expert.
Right. Well, one's domestic, one's international, but you know, I guess they were whatever, who are married. And so there are certain things that they are not supposed to discuss. And because of their work. And so when a question comes up, the other just says black bag. And it's just like accepted in their marriage that, okay, we're not going to go there. There's like some safe space and there's trust obviously built into that. There's obviously also suspicion and intrigue, which, you know, maybe a marriage needs. It's great stuff.
Is there a topic that is in the black bag zone in your life? Because you obviously are not, as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm not a spy. I would be a really bad spy. But maybe that means I'm the world's greatest spy. You never know.
Absolutely.
I mean, who am I
Definitely.
spying for? Is another
I'm
question.
gonna let you cook here. Just
Okay.
keep going.
Let's see. Black bag topics. I don't think that there's anything that there is like one topic that is not discussed, but like
Mhm.
sometimes I just like don't want to have the conversation.
Mhm.
Like we know how the conversation's going to end.
Mhm.
Like we know where we stand on this.
Mhm.
We've been together for a very long time, and and honestly the conversation would just be upsetting for all involved. So maybe we could just black
Is this
bag
like when you
this.
guys talk about Doge at home and
Yeah.
kind of the upending of the American government?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Do you have any? But don't you think it's useful? Don't you think it's like very wise? You don't.
I come from a repressed Irish family.
Right.
So black bag is sort of a mode of operation
Right.
that I have been trained to break. And so I'm probably more willing to get in the weeds of what's really going on.
Yeah.
There are some things that I don't like talking about, but I feel that is different from what black bag is.
Right.
Black bag is like, let's crack this hornet's nest open.
We don't need to do this.
Because then we're both jeopardized.
Have I ever told you, I think one of the greatest pieces of life and definitely relationship advice that I've ever gotten from my beloved Brooklyn therapist, who is Italian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see her anymore, but I love Sylvia. Shout out Sylvia. And I remember one time I was telling her something, and it was about like, I feel like, should I share this? I think with Zach, like maybe with a parent, but it was something about like, I don't totally feel like I'm like being completely honest or divulging everything in a relationship. And she was just like, I got to be honest, this is a very American thing that you feel like you have to like be like a total open blank slate. And in a different way, she was like, she was proposing the idea of the black bag of like, you don't have to give everything to everyone, to a person in order to have a good relationship.
This ties in.
I have thought about it every day since.
Well, this ties in honestly very well to the movie.
Yeah.
And I know that it is my job to keep steering us back.
Sure.
But, Cate Blanchett's character in this movie, you could argue is being very underhanded in the first act of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You could also argue that she is merely pursuing a version of that European strategy of, I guess for lack of a better phrase, feminine mystery.
Sure.
That there is in heterosexual relationships, this understanding that sometimes like a woman has moves and a man is trying to use his moves to kind of break down the woman's moves or penetrate beyond, sometimes quite literally, the like the walls or the scarves that are sort of wrapping the truth of certain experiences. She's such a good actress for this because she's incredibly composed and such an elegant person and feels impenetrable. And so she makes for a great spy.
She does.
But there's also a world where when you're watching her, you're like, maybe this is just who she is. Maybe there's no performance here at all. That she actually is this Phoebe Philo draped woman whose husband cooks every meal. And she is sort of the lead of the marriage. And she leads from the front of the marriage. And you buy it until the movie starts to play out. And then you realize partnership is stretched in different ways at different times. But I don't know that I have that thing that your wonderful Italian therapist has. If I'm not sharing something, it's probably either because I can't access it or I'm probably being too strategic.
Okay.
As opposed to having a philosophy of truth, which is a thing that obviously many spy movies grapple with too.
I mean, probably, but also, maybe we've gone too far as like a open therapized American society.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you just got to black bag something.
Is there anything that we have to black bag?
Like,
for example, when Chris took Endgame from me in a movie draft, like that's from now on, that's a black bag issue. We don't discuss that.
I don't know if we like actively. I think that we have a level of respect where it's like we don't even need to ask the question. Like the black bag doesn't even need to be said.
I generally agree.
Which I like very much. That is its own level of trust. So I don't, sometimes whatever's going on with you, I'm just going to let it cook and I'm going to check the spreadsheet and I'm just going to go with it. And that's
great.
That's how we do it.
Okay.
You know?
Anything else you want to add about Black Bag? People going to go see this movie? Probably not.
I think they should. I genuinely think it's a fun date night movie.
Feels like a real I didn't realize this isn't in theaters anymore VOD classic. The likes of which we've talked about many times on the show.
This is genuinely like get a babysitter, go see this movie, and like dinner on either side. And we haven't had one of those in a long time. That I think is...
Well, you weren't here for Nosferatu. That was the last time we really had one of those. Yeah, I generally agree. I think this is the best movie of the year so far. I think it's been a spotty year. There's been some gems. We'll talk about a few gems next week on the show. You haven't seen The Electric State yet, right?
No, that's on the list for this weekend.
Me as well.
Yeah,
I didn't
really
didn't check it out at any of the screenings.
Okay.
Let's talk about Cate Blanchett.
Okay.
It's a big career.
Yeah.
It's a long career.
One of our great working living actors.
I think there are some people who would say she is the greatest living actor. You know, she's in that conversation with Daniel Day-Lewis and I don't know who else is up there right now that you're
Meryl
Streep, Denzel. Yeah. People, when they show up, it's an event in and of itself, even if the material is not always good.
Yes.
And someone who works as often as she does is not always going to hit. This is a somewhat similar conversation to her Australian compatriot, Nicole Kidman, who we talked about in January for Baby Girl. She's a little bit younger than Nicole Kidman, but she has worked just as much, if not more.
I don't know.
Maybe not as much in the last 5 years.
In the last 5 years, I mean, Nicole Kidman is just...
She's making a lot of TV.
No days off. Yeah,
that's true. She's the winner of 2 Academy Awards for The Aviator and Blue Jasmine, supporting actress and actress. 4 BAFTAs, 4 Golden Globes. Not an EGOT person. Does not have an Emmy, does not have a Tony. I was surprised to learn she did not win for Mrs. America, the Emmy. That seemed like a miniseries that was almost made to pull in Emmys. And I thought it was quite good, actually. I don't know if you ended up watching that.
I watched some of it. She was good.
She's very good. Yeah, Phyllis Schlafly. I thought it was a great ensemble cast. I thought that was a really interesting series. A tremendous career in the theater.
You also didn't know what happened, right? You were like, did they get the Equal Rights Act?
Well, there's another movie recently that was about that. What was it? Was it the RBG movie?
Maybe. Well, that was about... I mean, it wasn't specifically about like the Equal Rights Amendment, but...
Can women vote? Are they allowed to vote? She has a Tony Award nomination, no Tonys. She's done an enormous amount of work in the Australian theater.
Yeah.
And her husband is a playwright and a director and screenwriter, and they work together a lot as well. So there's also just a lot that she does. She lives in Sydney, I think. She doesn't even live in LA or the United States. And didn't really break into the movies as we know them until she was about 28 years old. She did some work on TV and in the theater in Australia. Then she made a couple of Australian films before coming to the US. And then once she broke through, she was kind of like here to stay in the late 90s. Yeah. So what do you think about her? What do you make of her screen persona? What do you think she's really excels at?
Steeliness. Like, that is a woman who can do anything and can bring a lot of nuance to just being ice cold, but there is like a level of composure that she excels at, that, and like, you know, regal scariness basically that she brings, that you do now come to expect with her. So it was interesting to go and rewatch some of her earlier performances where she, I think, is cast in a wider range of roles and is asked to do things like naivety and, cluelessness or not quite having everything together. And she can do it. She can do anything, but knowing what I know about Cate Blanchett now, I'm like, no.
It's interesting because she's often described as versatile, that she can do any kind of part. But I would say especially over the last 10 or 12 years, she has developed a kind of framework that she really thrives in.
Yeah.
A certain kind of a part. Maybe some of that is just like what kind of roles are available to women in their 40s and 50s. But I do think that she has a really good feel because if you look at the movies that she made in the 90s, especially in the early
Mhm.
2000s. A lot of like broad comedy, daffiness, like maybe not showcasing that evident intelligence that she has. She's obviously a very smart person. If you ever read an interview with
Yeah.
her, she's really deft at eliding annoying questions. She's
Yeah.
really good at revealing just enough about herself, but not too much. She still has that aura of mystery that you were describing earlier to her as a performer.
But a lot of charm,
Very
also.
charming.
And she can. There is like warmth to her, but also you don't want to cross it at any
Yes.
point.
But are we just confusing that with her movie roles, with Elizabeth or with Lydia Tarr?
I mean, because I have watched like a lot of content of her, especially in the last 5 years on Instagram, because she has quite a devoted following. Especially like a queer following.
Instagram?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
think she's just.
Oh, she is
like,
yeah. There's
she's
a
like
huge stan culture around her.
huge
Yeah,
queer stan
especially
culture.
post Carol. Yeah,
yeah, and which she like has also embraced.
Yeah,
but so there's just like a lot of Instagram content. You can go down the reels with Cate Blanchett for a long time, and so no, she's and she's like game and fun. Like she is a performer.
Does she have any social media?
I don't think so. She's Cate Blanchett. Why does she need to be on Instagram?
I don't know. Actually, it's funny you say that. There was just a story this week about
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson saying that movie executives were encouraging her to start an Instagram page so that she could help promote, I guess, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
Which is something that has been in the news. I think it was maybe Maya Hawke who talked about this a couple of months ago, that movies are greenlit now in part based on following, which is something we know kind of intrinsically, and we know even just from doing this kind of a work in a digital atmosphere.
Right. But Cate Blanchett is grandfathered in.
She's not that much older than Scarlett Johansson, but yes, she just got over the line, I would say, from having to relentlessly promote her stuff.
She also has 2 Oscars, so
she has 2 Oscars. She is genuinely one of the most successful women at the box office in movie history, because she has a number of franchises that she can hang her hat on. She's been a part of not just the Lord of the Rings and not just the MCU, but the How to Train Your Dragon movies, the Indiana Jones movies, the Oceans movies. Like she's not afraid to just do Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not good,
but she doesn't really seem
to care. And I get the impression she does make plenty of stuff just like for her kids. She's like, my kids would want to see me do this, which is something we've talked about with like the Ben Afflecks of the world in the past.
And also to fund like a theater company in Australia.
Yes.
Which
makes
is
sense.
rad.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is very cool. Do you have a favorite performance of hers? Let's put Tar in a box for a minute.
Okay.
Let's put Tar in a box.
I think she's really, really good in Talented Mr. Ripley.
Okay.
Because even there, she's playing like the rich person who's clueless and doesn't know anything, but there are things manipulative things like she's figuring out under the surface that are it's just like very memorable. Okay. I like that more than I like, Elizabeth. She's really good in when she shows up in Thor, whatever Thor that is.
Yes, Ragnarok.
Yeah. I tend to like the bit stuff more than the things that she has won Oscars for.
So what makes you say that?
Well, Blue Jasmine, she's obviously very good, but that's such it's not that fun.
Mm-hmm. It's a very busy performance.
And it's so obviously like, I would like an Oscar, please performance.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Aviator, she's really, really good at Katharine Hepburn, and she has like a lot of Katharine Hepburn-esque qualities in terms of like the regalness and the cheekbones, I guess, and the
her posture, her elocution, that athletic sense that she has.
Yeah. But like how I feel about The Aviator. I'm like pretty mixed.
Okay. You think this will be a hard Hall of Fame to build or not?
No, because there's so much to choose from. And there are a couple really obvious ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest, I don't think, I'm not going to like die on the, fence of Thor, whatever, or, talent. Like, I don't feel that passionately.
Okay.
I think the ones I feel passionately about are definitely going in. So I'm not too worried. Are you nervous?
No, I think there's 5 like rock solid.
Yeah.
You have to do these.
Yeah,
and then the
yeah.
other 5, partially a matter of taste, partially a matter of impact. It's a little hard to not choose movies in which someone has won an Academy Award, even if you don't love the performance. Do we?
Yeah.
What was an example of that?
I don't know. I remember Julia Roberts was nominated for Steel Magnolias, and I was like, I don't care.
She didn't win.
Okay, well, didn't we do
an
it?
Academy Award winning performance?
I don't know.
Like Aaron Brockovich went in.
Well, yeah.
I would say Philadelphia and Forrest Gump went in when we did Hanks.
Have we done Hanks?
Some years ago, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if they all did.
Hanks or Cruise, who you got?
I'm not getting into this. We can have them both.
You won't make a choice.
No. That's between you and Bill. And I'm not gonna be like relitigated.
She gets her start with a couple of movies in Australia in 1997,
Mm-hmm.
Paradise Road, and Thank God He Met Lizzie. Thank God He Met Lizzie, a romantic comedy.
I know.
That looks like her career could have gone.
I would have liked to see it, but it's Australian and not easy to track down.
This is, somewhat similar to the Nicole Kidman thing, where you can see that the Australian film industry sees a cute, tall, young woman and is like, we're going to make her our Julia Roberts. And that's not really like where they excel. And so you can kind of see her moving away from that sort of thing. So Paradise Road and Thank God He Met Lizzie are no's. Those are both red. In 1997, she's in Oscar and Lucinda. This is probably the first time I heard of her. She's opposite Ralph Fiennes in this movie, which is directed by the Australian director Gillian Armstrong. Very small Oscar movie, but had a Best Costume nomination.
Right.
Ralph Fiennes coming off of like one of the more wild runs where he's in, Schindler's List and The English Patient, and he's like really at the center. And he makes this fairly small, I guess, like novel adaptation opposite this relatively unknown actress, with great supporting cast: Kieran Hines, Tom Wilkinson, Richard Roxburgh, who she's worked with many times in the past, Australian actor. Haven't seen this movie in like 30 years, whenever it came out. It's pretty good.
I like everyone involved, including Gillian Armstrong.
Yeah, I do too. And this is not the last time she'll work with Gillian Armstrong. But I don't think it goes in. No. I think it's like close. The problem is that the breakthrough that I always like to point to is like really loud on the next one.
Yeah. So it's fine. It has to be Elizabeth.
Yeah. So Elizabeth comes 1 year later, which is probably caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yes.
For a variety of reasons. A relatively unknown star, an Indian filmmaker, Shekhar Kapoor, who had, I think, only made films in India up until this point, and then became kind of a known quantity in English and Hollywood cinema. Went on to make like remake The Four Feathers and a number of other things. The Elizabeth story, I rewatched it this week.
So by Elizabeth story, let's just be clear. So you mean history?
History, yes. The story of Elizabeth I. Okay. We can call it a story. It's ancient history.
No, I know. But you tend to have a skepticism for this time period, whether it's Shakespeare or
what do you mean?
I don't know. Just I heard you getting ready to just be like, I don't know about Elizabeth.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Okay.
I think it's hard to compress a person's life that is so big into movies like this. This movie is only 2 hours long. Then you remember that 10 years later they make a sequel.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually quite cool. And I wish that there were more historical dramas that were like, we'll come back to you in 10 years with this.
Right.
When the actor has aged, when certain technologies have improved. So I've always liked that. She's really good, and you can see her kind of like wrap her arms around what that persona is going to be in this movie. It isn't my favorite historical drama of all time.
No.
Solid supporting cast: Jeffrey Rush, Christopher Eccleston. Joseph Fiennes never really had a taste for that. Not really my guy. Pretty much never really liked him in a movie.
That's hard.
Much more of a Rafe guy. I know you.
I mean, so am I.
Yeah.
But
I know
have
your
time
Shakespeare
for
in Love team.
It's good. It's fine. History is what it is, both in the case of Elizabeth and also what happened with Shakespeare in Love. No, it's just the performance is just electrifying.
It is.
And you're like, oh, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's Cate Blanchett. And she immediately gets Oscar attention and
nominated for an Oscar, won the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
The movie itself was a pretty big Oscar movie and basically confirms her as a leading woman, like and almost like a Hollywood fixture instantaneously.
Yeah.
She had, like I said, she had been kind of working in Australia for 5 or 6 years to this point, but you don't really see things work this way in quite the same way. I guess you could say like a Nora is sort of like this, where Mikey Madison now will have her pick of the litter, but the level of prestige that was afforded to this movie and to this part felt very rare to me. When you feel like if you're a big sports fan and you're like, I know everything about the NFL, and then some guy gets signed to a free agent contract, and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that guy is.
Yeah.
That guy got $75 million. Who is that?
It happens with young actresses a fair amount.
Yeah. Who's the last person? I guess like Daisy Ridley is a person to whom this happened. So maybe it's more common than I'm thinking. Nevertheless, Paradise Road, red. Thank God he met Lizzie, red. Oscar and Lucinda, yellow. Elizabeth, the first green.
Yeah.
An Ideal Husband. Is this an Oscar Wilde play?
Yes.
Is it with Rupert Everett?
Yes.
I haven't seen this in a long time.
I haven't either, but I definitely saw it at the time as like a result of, okay, now we know who Cate Blanchett is.
Yes.
And we know who Rupert Everett is.
Yes. Minnie Driver as well as in this movie. Who directed this movie? I need to refresh my memory.
Oliver Parker.
Okay. Fine, as I recall.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she gets a little bit typecast as woman who wears
corsets.
Corsets. And she can do that very well. Yeah. I wonder how she feels about that now. When's the last time she strapped on a corset?
Let's see.
It's probably been a while, right? Maybe it is Elizabeth the Golden Age, and she's kind of in armor in that movie.
Yeah. She does, I mean...
Cinderella, perhaps?
Well, yeah, like at some point we're talking about like different garments, like in Carol, she was doing period pieces and corsets of a sort. I don't remember what's going on in Nightmare Alley, but she's
so
very
much great
good.
Shit. She's amazing.
Yeah, but I meant in terms of like the underpinnings, as they call them.
Sure, yeah.
But so period pieces, but not that level of period piece.
I see. Has Cate Blanchett posed for Playboy? No? Okay. An Ideal Husband is red. Pushing Tin. Do you remember this movie? This was big like cover of Entertainment Weekly.
I do remember.
Angelina Jolie, Billy Bob Thornton, John Cusack. You know what they are? They're air traffic controllers. This is going to be a zany dramedy from Mike Newell, English filmmaker. Not a big fan of this movie. Not going in. 1999, she makes 3 movies. Her second is just a vocal performance.
Yeah.
As mysterious woman in Eyes Wide Shut.
She does have a great voice.
A great voice that is very good in this very weird part where she sort of like helps escort Tom Cruise through a mysterious, orgiastic secret society having their weekly fuck session. I don't know how else to describe it. Not going in, but I'd like to create a new delineation. And maybe the color should be orange.
Okay.
And it's I'm fucking glad this happened.
Just the cool shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just one cool thing.
Great.
I'd like for it to always be in a movie. I don't want it to be some social media moment, a meme, a talk show appearance.
Okay, listen, stop waving your hand at me.
I don't want
like that.
No, I don't want it. Black bag.
I'm doing it.
Okay. Orange for Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay.
1999 again, The Talented Mr. Ripley. Now you think going in. Now she's a critical character, but it's a small part.
Yeah. No small parts, only small actors.
Okay. Great. Excellent.
I think it's green.
I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Have you seen The Gift?
No, I haven't, but I know it's a Sam Raimi film, so I was just going to let you cook.
It is a Sam Raimi film.
Getting out of the way.
Very disreputable swamp noir thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my one note on it. When I rewatched it a few years ago, it's got a great cast: Keanu Reeves, Giovanni Ribisi. There's not really any movies about characters who have telepathy or like a sixth sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not.
We're not doing that anymore.
There are just not a lot that exist. Like there's certainly some like exploitation, like smaller horror movies that feature that, but like Hollywood movies about somebody who can like see the future or read minds or is like a palm reader. This is the rare case where that's like she's got, after a murder, they go to her, the police go to her and they're like, help us solve who killed this person. Help us use your magical powers to read whether or not your mysticism. And that alone distinguishes it. It's very unusual because I think most people look at that stuff and they're like, there are people in the world who are actually trying to pretend that that's real, but we all know it's not real. So it's not a good framework for a movie. What do you think about that? Have you ever been to a palm reader? Have you ever been to a psychic?
I think that I tried to go once with our mutual friend Lindsay Fields, but the psychic was closed, which didn't seem like a good
wow, you and Lindsay
sign.
Fields at a psychic that's an insane energy.
Well, we definitely had like several drinks at lunch. It was great.
Okay.
I miss Lindsay. I hope she's really well.
Me too.
So, but like the psychic being closed is kind of, I mean, I guess that's like my autobiography title. So no, I haven't been that I'm aware of. You don't think that there was?
The psychic was closed. The Amanda Dobbins story.
I mean, I do kind of believe there are people with ESP. Is that what it's called?
ESP, extrasensory perception.
It's probably not a good story construct because it's just kind of like magic, basically. And then this person solves the problem.
And how do you visualize it? It's always like her, like, it almost like has like a thought bubble attached to her head. It's just like, I'm seeing the murder transpire.
I mean, like, it's in Ghost, right? But that's played for laughs.
Yes. But even then it's like, it's like a ghostly figure. It's not the same as sort of like a person who can kind of channel a memory. You know, like Patrick Swayze's actually like there trying to touch you. Anyway,
Okay.
That's a tangent. The Gift is Red.
Okay.
Not a huge success. The Man Who Cried, never seen it.
Okay.
This is your favorite movie?
No, but I'm reading. Here's the cast. 2000 drama film written and directed by Sally Potter. Starring Christina Ricci, Cate Blanchett, Johnny Depp, Harry Dean Stanton, and John Turturro. Incredible.
Written and directed by Sally Potter. Never seen this movie.
Yeah.
It's about a young Jewish girl who, after being separated from her father in Soviet Russia, who I assume is Johnny Depp, and Christina Ricci is the daughter, grows up in England.
Her father is Oleg Yankovsky.
Oh, okay. Grows up in England and moves to Paris as a young adult shortly before the beginning of World War II.
Johnny Depp is a mysterious performing horseman. I want to say whoever wrote the Wikipedia page for The Man Who Cried, written and directed by Sally Potter, you're doing great work.
Boy, this is a movie that does not exist to me. Played Venice?
I guess so.
Cate Blanchett won Best Supporting Actress in the National Board of Review.
Okay.
This will be the last movie of hers that I just straight up have not heard of.
All right.
2001's The Shipping News. Let me take you back once upon a time when two-time Academy Award winner Kevin Spacey was the hottest name in Hollywood. Hard to imagine now, but this guy could get anything made. He could get K-Pax made. He could get Pay It Forward made. And he could get The Shipping News made. The Shipping News, a literary adaptation about a guy who's like an ink setter at a local newspaper who falls in love with a woman played by Cate Blanchett, and she is not a nice woman at all.
Yeah.
She cheats on him. She breaks his heart. And then he needs another woman to come in and save him. This movie stinks.
Her name is also Petal.
Read all of the characters' names in The Shipping News. They're insane.
Kevin Spacey as Coyle.
Coyle, Quoyle.
Yeah. Julianne Moore as Wavy Prowse.
Wavy Prowse.
Judi Dench as Agnes Ham, but Agnes spelled with an I. I like the name Agnes. Cate Blanchett as Petal. Pete Postlethwaite as Turt Card.
Turt Card. T-E-R-T Card.
Rhys Ifans as Bofield Nutbeam.
Bofield Nutbeam.
I mean, we could go
This is it's an Annie Proulx novel, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
And I remember trying to read this when I was a big fan of Kevin Spacey's, and I was what in the actual fuck? You know when authors just get bored and they're like, I'm going to try to come up with the craziest name I can.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Anyway, Shipping News not in. 2001 Charlotte Gray, not a bad movie.
No, not a bad movie.
Gillian Armstrong movie about a spy in World War II.
I know. So it's like, all of Amanda's things are coming together.
It's pretty good.
Well, Billy Crudup is playing like a French resistance guy with an American. The accents are they're doing the thing where everyone is just going to speak in English with their best like, ha.
I think this is his first movie after Almost Famous.
And Cate Blanchett is, I mean, she's capable, but she is doing that whole, like, I'm, thrown in the deep end and I don't know how to do all of this. And I'm like, well, you're Cate Blanchett. You would know how to do all of this.
Interesting and very good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Charlotte Gray, not even yellow.
No.
2001's Bandits. Never seen this before. Watched it this week for the first time. This was a big movie at the time. Barry Levinson, bank robber comedy, starring Billy Bob in a reunion with Cate Blanchett and Bruce Willis. They play bank robbing brothers called the Overnight Bandits, I think, where they sleepover bandits. Movie doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I do really love this era of Billy Bob Thornton when he was getting all these cool parts and like A Simple Plan and Armageddon, and he's great in all of these movies. That was kind of a cool run where he was like not a movie star, but not a character actor. He was doing something very interesting in Hollywood. Anyway, I really like Cate Blanchett in this movie. It's one of the only times when she is completely rejecting that steeliness that you were describing.
Right.
She plays like a completely frustrated, like over it housewife of a rich guy who accidentally hits one of the bandits with her car, and then she goes on the bank robbing spree with them. The movie itself is not very good, but I like her performance in it. I'm not advocating for it in the Hall of Fame. I'm merely just drawing some attention to it.
She's good.
There is a new Barry Levinson movie coming out next week.
My dad is so excited.
The Alto Nights.
Yeah.
It feels a little banditsy.
Yeah.
In that it won't be good, but maybe something cool will happen in it.
Have you watched any of the De Niro Netflix show?
Is it called One Day? No. Is it called Day One? Day One.
Something like that.
I haven't, and I never will.
Okay.
Have you?
No.
Okay.
But sometimes Netflix autoplays it for me, and it's like De Niro just being like, go to the Situation Room or something like that.
Is he playing Biden?
Probably.
Okay. The one problem with me not watching it is in the Bill Simmons mold of season tickets.
Yeah.
I have sworn to watch everything Jesse Plemons does.
Oh, that's
and he's
tough.
in the show.
Right.
So what do I do about that?
You could just watch his scenes.
That would be deranged, but it is the kind of thing I would do.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
It is not called One Day or Day One. It is in fact called 0 Day.
0 day.
0 day.
We're not even on the first day. We're on
not
the
to
0
the first
day
yet. Maybe that's season 2.
we could be on the
Who
first
knows?
day in the UK.
0 day : day 1 is season 2. Okay, I'm not watching that. 2001, Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. She's the queen of the elves.
Correct. Galadriel.
Is she really the queen of the elves?
Yes, you only know that because I just said it to you on another pod that won't be released for 9 months. This happened literally yesterday. Don't pretend like you knew that.
But it's not like I remembered that that's how you told me. And that was like, because here's the thing. I've seen all 3 of these movies.
Yeah, local woman knows about famous actor in the biggest movie of all time.
I've seen all 3 of these movies, but like the way that you can't remember like meaningful personal interactions, I can't remember the plot of these movies. Like, and you could tell me, and it just goes to a part of my brain where I'm like, and the ears were pointy. So that I remembered that. I know it's because you told me, but my brain is working in amazing ways. So she's the queen of the elves.
She's the queen of the elves. She helps set the Fellowship on their path toward
the Fellowship or hobbits,
as well as other figures.
The tree people.
Not really. No. There's hobbits. There's Aragorn.
Aragorn's not an elf.
He's a man. He's played by Viggo Mortensen.
What's up with the humans in the Shire?
What is up with them?
Like, what's their status?
They don't live in the Shire. The hobbits live in the Shire.
Well, Middle Earth. That's what it's called. So
that's the entire realm.
Yeah. So like, what is the status of humans in the realm?
What do you mean? Like, are they vaccinated? What are you talking about?
Like,
what is
are
the
they?
status? Like,
yeah.
Are they
like
have they been naturalized citizens?
What is like the human elf tree people like? Is there a power structure? Is everyone like coexisting?
Amanda, there's 3 whole movies that you could watch and find out the answers to these questions.
Them, I don't remember.
There are various kingdoms. Some of them are led by men. Some of them are led by these other characters.
Is Middle Earth before now or after now?
It's not in the chronology of America. Like, I don't know what to tell.
I'm not asking about like America, about like a chronology of humanity.
Man, this is a fantasy story. It's all made up.
Coming soon to a Ringer Movies YouTube video near you, Amanda's caste system of Middle Earth.
Well, I'm not trying to impose a hierarchy if one doesn't exist. If they've worked it all out.
Uh-huh.
And they are treating each other with respect, which it doesn't sound like they are.
It sounds like Middle Earth needs a 0 day to make it clear who's in charge. Lord of the Rings and Fellowship of the Ring is going in. I think that's the most Galadriel screen time we get, but honestly, I can't remember. And if there's somebody out there who's like, actually, Dick, it's the Two Towers, I apologize. I think Fellowship is a good stand-in for the entire series.
Okay.
And she's very similar to Talented Miss Ripley, a very important character with a modest role. Okay, Two Towers, we can just read just for the sake of conversation. Heaven, I haven't seen in a long time. Tom Tykwer movie. I think maybe the first movie he made after Run Lola Run. Also with Giovanni Ribisi, as I recall. Haven't seen it in a long time. Feels like a very minor movie about, what did she play? A teacher?
I don't remember.
And this is the first.
She plays a teacher in another movie coming up. Are you?
Yes, and she also plays a woman proximate to drug addiction in another movie coming up fairly soon too. So this is something she's kind of like working in, and she's doing this thing where she's bouncing between big tentpole-y stuff now, or big prestigious projects, and smaller projects. Often directed by international filmmakers or women. Something that she's kind of always been committed to. So Heaven is red. 2003's Coffee and Cigarettes. She appears in one segment of Jim Jarmusch's omnibus movie that is a very fun movie.
Yeah.
It also stars the Wu-Tang Clan, Bill Murray, a number of other people, the White Stripes. She plays herself and a woman named Shelley.
Okay.
It's a cool sequence.
I mean, that's the gist of this. It's cool. It's cool that everybody did these things. Like, is it essential? Is it going in the Hall of Fame?
If we had not already given her voice work in Eyes Wide Shut the coveted orange space,
thing? Okay. Oh, so this
could have been an orange
There's only
space.
one cool shit award.
What do you think
for
about that?
Hall of Fame. I like it.
Okay.
You know?
So red for Coffee and Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Veronica Guerin.
Sure.
This is a movie about an Irish journalist directed by Joel Schumacher, who is absolutely the director you want making a drama about an Irish journalist, who is a true story based on a very upsetting real woman's tale, who sought to expose the incredible wave of drug dealing and drug addiction that was happening in Dublin in the 90s. And it's fine. She's good at accents.
Why is Joel Schumacher making this movie?
I don't know.
Okay.
And he's kind of bouncing around in the aftermath of his Grisham Batman period.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is right around when he does Phone Booth with Colin Farrell. Actually, Colin Farrell, this is one of his very first roles. He plays a guy watching a soccer match in this movie. And I think, I want to say Tigerland is like right after this, another Joel Schumacher movie. And so that's the movie that really set Colin Farrell on his way to being the wonderful man that we know
so
today.
Does this go in Colin Farrell's Hall of Fame?
Well, I'd love to do it with you.
Okay.
And he's going to be the star of The Ballad of a Small Player, which is the new Edward Berger movie about a gambler who goes to Macau, which I cannot wait for.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, it's a Netflix movie, so I'm lowering my expectations. But after your Vegas run, maybe you could be the star of The Ballad of a Small Player too.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay. Veronica Guerin is red. My mind feels very strong right now.
Okay. What do you think? Did it not start off strong?
Very weak this morning.
I know, and I asked you about that, and you black bagged
It was raining very loud.
It did.
It woke me up.
It woke me up too, but I was able to go back to sleep.
I did have 3 cups of coffee.
I had 2. I've been doing I changed magnesiums, and I do think it's helping.
I've never tried magnesium. My wife uses magnesium.
I do magnesium, and it's with vitamin D for absorption, and I need vitamin D anyway because we all do. So
not something I'm currently getting, as most viewers of this podcast
right,
know.
Yeah. So that helped, but the rain did wake me up, and it woke Zach up, and then Sai was crying, and then
Tough night.
So I think, but Zach is bearing the brunt of Zach's where you are, but it's nice to see that you've woken back up.
My mind is strong.
Okay.
2003, The Missing. This is Ron Howard's follow-up to A Beautiful Mind. It's a 2.5-hour Western starring Tommy Lee Jones and Cate Blanchett as a woman whose daughter is abducted.
Yeah.
My mind isn't as strong as I thought. Kind of a faint homage to The Searchers. Tommy Lee Jones plays her father, who's very learned in the ways of the Apache, like you do.
Okay.
I thought this movie was incredibly boring.
Yeah.
There is a contingent of people who think it's very underrated, and it's very kind of stately Ron Howard production.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan.
Okay. There's a contingent of people who think every just like really long Western that like came out between 1994 and 2005 is underappreciated.
I usually have a handshake agreement with those people, but in this case, I don't. I don't feel that Ron Howard has a real flair for the Western. There's something kind of flat and uninspiring to me about this movie. Nevertheless, 2004, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Well, you skipped Return of the King. I don't want people to yell at us because you didn't say
it won Best
Return of the
Picture.
King. Yeah.
What did it do? Go 11 for 11 at the Academy Awards, something crazy like that.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's darn good. She wasn't nominated for her work in that film.
Okay.
I think it's a fairly small part in the third film.
Okay.
But congratulations
I just
to her.
wanted the people of Middle Earth and their new and equal society to be seen and heard.
They are not listening because they don't exist. Return of the King. You know what's good about those movies? They shot them all together.
Yeah.
Why aren't we not doing that more?
We're doing it with TV shows.
Well, of course.
Yeah. Well.
But 3 epic films. You know who did do it? Big Jim. Avatar 2 and 3 shot
true.
together. Shout out to him.
Did they didn't do it with Dune?
They didn't. I think because they weren't sure if Dune 1 was going to work. So they were hedged their bets.
You know
a
who
little
did
bit.
it though? The god Kevin Costner with Horizon Part 1 and 2.
Oh yeah. Well,
I've heard.
I actually don't know if that's true.
To the contrary, Bob.
Really? Well, I know he didn't shoot 3 at the same time, even though he wanted to.
Let's just say it was a rolling production. Is my understanding of the situation.
Okay.
That's
waited for those checks to cash.
I think that there was like, let's make sure we have enough to complete 2 going on, but they did, and I can't wait to see it. Okay, 2004, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I think it's going in.
Green.
Okay, great.
She's wonderful.
She's excellent in this movie.
She's so good, and there is a softness, like a little daffiness.
Yes.
To what's going on
Modulates
with her, but
voice,
it's still
different kind of
believable.
performance.
Yeah.
Yes, but still very emotional.
Yes.
She is a journalist on the boat, tracking
Yeah.
Zissou's reunion with his son, right? As I recall.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie. We both love this movie, but no brainer. 2004. Let's just go back. How many do we have now?
We have 4.
We have 4, and we're in 2004. We've got quite a few films to talk about, but how many greens we'll have? Let's go. Let's see. 2004, The Aviator. I think it has to go in. Now, you want to fight? We can fight.
I don't want to fight. We can fight later on, but I would agree. This is her first Oscar. Very memorable. It is, everyone doing old Hollywood cosplay, but like she's perfectly cast. I do really like Katharine Hepburn. Like those pants. So sure, green.
Okay. 2005, Little Fish. This is a movie I was not aware of until yesterday. An Australian production. Like I said, she does go back to Australia to make films there every few years, which I think is very admirable. This one features a number of very well-known Australian actors: Hugo Weaving, Martin Henderson. It's about a woman who works in a video store who is a recovering addict, and it's a very emotional family drama. Okay. It was just okay.
All right.
I like that they tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And I
was
appreciate
she a
her
good video
works.
store clerk?
She's attempting in the movie to become a partner in the video store instead of just a clerk.
Oh.
And so it's about her journey to become like, to elevate her status.
Got it. Okay.
Much as Galadriel elevated the status of elves in the film The Lord of the Rings. Not going in. 2006, Babel.
I mean, it's not going in.
I'm not a big fan of this movie.
Nor am I.
This is Inarritu's multi-continent, multi-character story about how we are all trapped in the quagmire of power and randomness.
True. And true.
Which is a true thing.
Yeah.
It's a sort of like a spiritual sequel to Amores Perros in some ways. It has like a kind of a unifying conceit, but it covers a lot of different kinds of characters. Mm-hmm. She plays a woman who's married to Brad Pitt. They're on a trip in, is it Tunisia? I can't quite recall which country they're in. Is it Morocco?
I think Morocco.
Morocco. And something awful happens. And I don't want to watch this movie again.
I did not revisit it.
Okay. Interesting, the same year, she also made The Good German,
Yeah.
arguably the worst Steven Soderbergh movie.
Yeah.
When I spoke with Steven a couple years ago, I was like, when are you guys going to put this on Blu-ray? And he's like, why do you want to put that on Blu-ray? So that was very amusing.
Bless him.
He went for something cool, I think, in an attempt to recreate a 40s black and white kind of war film. It's kind of a spy war film in a way. She's cast, kind of typecast in a way that she often is typecast as Katharine Hepburn, as in Nightmare Alley. She has this kind of Barbara Stanwyck, Joan Crawford,
I mean, she can do it. She's
Hollywood actress veneer.
She's fine. She's not really the problem
No.
with it. I think Clooney is miscast, and then it's just like it's a little stayed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's out. Hot Fuzz. This also would have been a candidate for the orange, cool,
Okay.
I'm glad you did this thing,
Yeah.
where she plays at the very beginning of the film the boyfriend of Simon Pegg's character, but she is wearing a forensic getup in the aftermath of a murder, and so we never see her face. We only hear her voice, but it is her.
That's
So
her.
you can see her eyes.
Yeah. You skipped Notes on a Scandal.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
that's
which
important.
is a green.
That's important.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'll let you speak on it.
I rewatched this because this was another buzzy Oscar.
She was nominated for this movie.
As was Judi Dench, and it was like we were of an age where I was like seeing every Oscar.
Yes. This was
Oscar
May,
movie.
December, before May, December.
Yeah. I really like.
It's good.
Good messed up movie. Incredible Judi Dench performance, and a good script that uses it. But the Blanchett character could be a nothing burger, and she is very interesting. Like the film is about two teachers, one of whom has an affair with a student, and the other exposes it, or is interested in it for her own reasons. And you don't totally understand why her character is doing what she's doing, but also you do. Like there is I guess that bit of mystery that she imbues, but she also just makes it like she makes her a real, very believable person in what are, as the title would indicate, like pretty like scandalous and soap opera-y circumstances, which really only Cate Blanchett could do. So
it's interesting that she took on this part. She's very good in it. I don't really have much to add to what you shared. I think it's maybe a part that only she could have played.
Well, the May December thing is apt because I mean, the setup is like very different, and May December the tones are different, and there's also like a an awareness that is built in
comedy May
to
December.
The casting.
Yeah.
But if Natalie Portman were in Notes on a Scandal, it would be quite different, which is the point of casting Natalie Portman in May December.
Yeah.
But
could Nicole Kidman have been in Notes on a Scandal?
Yes, maybe, but there is something
just a little more ordinary about Cate Blanchett. You know what I mean when I say that?
That's exactly the right word, because I was trying to, she is like extraordinarily beautiful and also extraordinarily like unique looking.
She's like the striking movie that you see. She's like the striking woman that you see on a train, where you're like, she's in the real world.
Yes.
When you see Nicole Kidman, you're like, who's that alien?
Right. That beautiful alien.
Totally. Yeah.
Exactly. But yes, there is something that she can like shift down and be a little like messy and relatable.
Let me ask you this. Could Nicole Kidman have played Galadriel?
Yeah.
Okay. Notes on a Scandal's green. Hot Fuzz is red. Elizabeth the Golden Age, as I said, 9 years later.
Yeah.
Kapoor and Blanchett reunite to continue the tale of Elizabeth I. In a very different phase of her life. She was nominated again for an Academy Award.
Yeah. It's not going in, but
okay.
It's a cool way to do history, I guess.
Agreed. It's red. 2007, I'm Not There.
Green.
Agree. She plays Jude Quinn, who is a version of the Bob Dylan that we just saw in the recent film A Complete Unknown.
Mhm.
The same era, essentially. It's about Bob's time in London is it 64? I want to say 64. She plays a version of him, and it is the best Bob Dylan performance of all time.
I think that's true.
She was nominated in this year in Best Supporting Actress for this part and in Best Actress for Elizabeth the Golden Age. The rare double-double. You don't see it that often. She didn't win either part. She should have won for I'm Not There.
Okay.
We'll come back to it. 2008, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. She plays an evil Russian named Irina Spalko.
Mm-hmm. She's good. It's not going in.
It's so hammy. This is the hammiest thing she's ever done.
Yeah, but it's Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the
Dr.
Crystal Skull.
Jones.
Well, I mean,
you've come back, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, she's having fun. Like, if you're gonna be a villain in an indie movie, that's what seize the day.
Okay, not in an independent film, but in an Indiana Jones movie.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's Red. You're saying?
Yeah, it's Red, but I enjoyed it.
Better than the Dial of Destiny or worse?
I mean, remember when like Archimedes comes to life? Or no, I guess it's Indiana Jones goes back in time. So Archimedes is like still
he's
living.
confronted by Archimedes and he's like, oh my God. But
and
he
they
doesn't
have like
speak
an
Greek,
emotional
so
question, like emotional conversation about like time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty dumb.
Completely disagree. I loved it. The only way to make that better would have been just leave Indy there. That was the way to end that movie. When they go back to New York, they fucked that up. Okay. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is not going in. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, 2008. Now, an interesting situation here. Of course, not my favorite of the David Fincher films.
Right. Because your heart is closed off.
No. She plays, I think, a poorly written character.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the more standard girlfriend figures. She is luminous in the movie. And there's that incredible sequence in the plaza where she dances. They're
both so beautiful in it.
Yeah.
Which is the point.
It is part of the point, for sure. I got to go back to this movie and think about whether or not it's something I can ever get my heart around. I'm not against it, and I would suggest a yellow.
Yellow. We can come back to it.
The thing is that the supporting performance in this movie is Taraji P. Henson. That's the one that is, and she was nominated.
Yeah.
Not Cate Blanchett. So.
But the dancing really is so.
It's great.
Beautiful.
As always, Kate ahead of the curve, 2008, Ponyo.
Mm-hmm.
She supplies a voice performance in the dubbed version as Grandma Mare. It's cool that she did it. She's got 5. It's cool that she did it.
Cate Blanchett rules.
Can't wait for your children to discover Ponyo. It's going to be an amazing day. 2010 Robin Hood. Don't know what happened here. She starred as Lady Marian, and she's a little bit of a yassified Lady Marian, I would say, in Ridley Scott's completely unnecessary retelling of the Robin Hood tale, starring Russell Crowe. Chris Ryan and I were living in Brooklyn at the time when this came out, and this was easily the biggest event of our year to that point. We were extremely fired up as hardcore Ridley heads. We both went to go see it, and
you were like, "What I need is a Ridley retelling of Robin Hood. This seems like a good idea."
Yeah,
to you.
Yeah, I mean, who's better at like the big action set piece, the period piece, battle sequences? This is what he does. He's great at this stuff. The movie is so turgid, except for Oscar Isaac, who's excellent in it as Prince John, I want to say. So that's out. Now, 2011 Hannah.
I was going to say green.
I think it might be. This is one of her coolest performances.
It's really, really fun. And also, it can stand in for doing something different, playing the villain, being like in the non-costume drama type. Also, we're Joe Wright heads. So
I think this is one of my favorites of his. It's about a man who is like trained as a super spy assassin who then essentially leaves the life and goes out into live in the wilderness, and he raises his daughter by himself, Hannah, and teaches her everything that he knows. Hannah's played by Saoirse Ronan. Cate Blanchett plays Marissa Wiegler, who is this like CIA attaché, somebody who's trying to basically bring Hannah in and utilize her skills for the government. She's very evil and intimidating and great in this movie.
Yeah.
I think this movie's a little forgotten.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, though.
It's really good.
Okay, I like that as a green. 2012, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey.
Isn't all they do just journey places? They eat and then they got to go somewhere. So what's unexpected about it?
Great note. Got no follow up to that note. That's red. 2013, Blue Jasmine. This is her first film with Woody Allen. It's a film about a middle-aged woman essentially having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
As I said, a very showy performance, a lot of tics, a lot of vocal affectation in the performance as this kind of like angry, nervous New Yorker. I think she's good in it.
She's good.
The whole campaign had this kind of air of inevitability, I think, and it was sort of in the same vein as like Sean Penn's second win, Daniel Day-Lewis's second win, where it was like, you can't not, because she's Cate Blanchett. Like she, by this time.
Who is she running against? 2000.
Good question.
Oscars. Here we go.
It would be the 2014 Oscars.
I Googled that.
Okay.
I know what's up. Amy Adams in American Hustle, respectfully no. Sandra Bullock in Gravity, respectfully no. Judi Dench in Philomena, which was like the award season joke of that year because who had heard of that? And Meryl, but in August, Osage County. So with this lineup, you kind of can't not do it.
I actually think Amy Adams is fantastic in American Hustle, which is a movie I don't like.
She's good. This was the year of Wolf of Wall Street, and Margot Robbie was not nominated.
I would have put her in supporting, personally.
Okay. Well, June Squibb was nominated in supporting that year. That was nice.
She's very good in Nebraska. Okay. Well, I think Blue Jasmine probably has to go in. It would be weird to put in Hannah and not Blue Jasmine.
Well, don't you feel like we're a little samey doing the expected stuff right now? With the exception of Hannah. That's what I like about Hannah.
The problem with Hannah is there's at least 3 more that have to go in.
Well, I just don't think that we already did an Oscar. Make it yellow. Bobby made it yellow. Good job.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay.
2013's The Turning. No, not going in. 2013's The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
So, Smaug is...
I like saying it like Smaug.
Is that not how you say it?
Some say Smaug.
Okay. Well, what's in the text?
Tolkien's dead, so I'm not really sure.
No, I meant in the movie. No one says Smaug at any point or Smaug.
I think it's like somewhere in between the way that I'm pronouncing it.
Okay, so it's like an American thing where we can't get the vowels right. That's Sauron is the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up with Smaug?
Smaug's a dragon voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Of course,
he's trapped in a in a lair protecting gold.
Okay, but then the hobbits get in the lair and they get the gold. And they redistribute it equally.
Not exactly.
Among
You'd be surprised.
Oh no!
There's an unexpected journey.
Oh.
I thought we had already completed the unexpected journey. Keep your unexpected journeys out of my desolation of Smaug, Sean.
It's kind of an ongoing situation, you know. 2014.
It's one of the most offensive things ever that they split this into 3 movies. It's so offensive.
Yeah, Ralph Bakshi did it all by himself in the 70s. He made one movie in 110 minutes.
This is just an adaptation of the book The Hobbit.
Correct.
Which I've read.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to reading that to my child.
The Hobbit?
Yeah. It's a good story to read. Hated it.
Yeah.
Explains a lot. 2014, The Monuments Men. This film is directed by George Clooney and stars Matt Damon. And it stinks.
It's really, really stinks.
John Goodman's in it. Tons of great actors.
Bill Murray's in it.
Bill Murray.
I really wanted this to be good, and it's just like really not good.
If you do it 99 more times, how many times is it good?
Is George Clooney directing it? With respect,
let's say no. 99 other directors get a shot at making this kind of a movie, a heist movie set during World War II.
Let's just have Edward Berger make it.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah,
I agree. That would be good. Would it be funny though? I guess Conclave is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay. 2014, How to Train Your Dragon 2. No.
Okay.
We're going to CinemaCon. They're going to show the How to Train Your Dragon live action film while we're there. That was officially announced.
Are we going?
Well, would you like to go?
I've never seen the animated version.
Well, then this will be interesting to you because you won't know the
story.
story.
It's at 9:30 in the morning?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure. You know.
We can get some coffee.
Yeah.
We can sit together.
Okay. We can.
Yeah.
You think that I'm going to go to a CinemaCon like presentation and not
Amanda,
sit next to you?
sit over there. No, a little further back. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, she once again recurs as Galadriel.
So name the 5 armies.
Jimmy's army, Ricky Bobby's army, Steve's army, Galadriel's army.
Okay.
Forget the other one. 2015 Knight of Cups. This is her first film with Terrence Malick.
Yeah.
Not her last.
Yeah.
She plays, I think she plays Christian Bale's wife.
Yeah. And also a doctor.
It's not the meatiest role.
No.
This movie is interesting. I was just talking to Mags, who we work with, and she was like, I'm getting into Malick. I'd never seen any Malick movies. And I checked it. I started with Knight of Cups. And I was like, not the place I would start.
Yeah, no.
It's not where you want to go first. Knight of Cups is an interesting emotional journey as well. Mm-hmm. An unexpected journey of assembled footage.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
No, it was fine.
It's just not my favorite.
I revisited just the Cate Blanchett part for this. I mean, she's in it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. She's in
there.
It's not a signature performance for her. Now, here's an interesting thing. 2015 Cinderella.
Okay.
There's a case for this.
Have you guys done this one yet in the home?
And not only that, but in the light of day, which is to say 10 years later, when this phenomenon continued so significantly after the big success of this movie, this might be the best live action Disney movie.
Oh.
And I had only just seen it either this year or late last year for the first time. Come to find out, one, it's Kenneth Branagh directed it. That doesn't ensure quality, but it raises the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And she's amazing as the wicked stepmother.
Yeah. I mean, born to play the role.
So good.
Yeah.
And this is like a very star-studded cast in this movie. I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
I saw it.
You saw this?
Yeah. Wasn't Mirror Mirror around this time?
It was. Not as successful.
No, but we were just, Cinderella was back. We were reinterrogating Cinderella, but not.
Lily James is Cinderella, Richard Madden is Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter is the fairy godmother. My girl Holiday Granger from Mickey 17 is evil stepsister Anastasia. Sophie McShera from Downton Abbey is the other wicked stepsister, Drizella. And then fucking Stellan Skarsgård and Derek Jacobi are in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's in, but I'm saying it's pretty good. I'm yellowing it.
Okay.
Just to play referee here for you guys. We do have 8 greens already, 4 yellows, and we have some big ones coming up.
Bob, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
We're going to have to do some work here. This has been quite a career for her.
As always, I am reminding you of the yellow opportunity.
Okay, well, this is yellow, and then the
Cinderella
next one's
is
green.
yellow. 2015, Carol. Green. One of her best performances.
Harold, they're lesbians.
Perhaps her best movie? Perhaps.
No.
Tar is Amanda coded, but Carol may be her best movie.
I think Tar is the best movie.
Okay. I love Carol. We both love Carol.
Yeah.
Todd Haynes' film. Is it Todd Haynes' best movie? Probably Safe would be my choice. Anyhow, she plays a gorgeous woman with a strong desire for Rooney Mara.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a pained love affair, an agonizing love affair. Beautiful, sumptuous movie. Extraordinary costume and production design.
A Christmas movie, right?
Very much a Christmas movie about a shop girl.
Yeah.
And this is her kind of channeling that mystery that we're talking about, that kind of like that ability to withhold. And I think she's very, very good at. So that's a no-brainer. 2015's Truth, you mentioned you might check this out.
I did check it out, and then I turned it off after 40 minutes because I was offended.
It's very bad. It gets worse if you finish it.
I mean, I can't believe that.
I can't believe it was made. It's about the television producer who helped to report and produce the segment on the story around George W. Bush's military record, which was a big story at the time about how there had been falsified documents of some kind that showed that he didn't actually serve or went AWOL. I can't remember the details. Robert Redford plays Dan Rather, who was, shamed in the aftermath of this reporting when it was revealed that it was all untrue.
Right.
I don't know why the movie was made. I don't know. Mary Mapes, the producer, is not a notable figure that deserves this kind of treatment. I find the whole thing very odd, especially for somebody who's making Carol and Cinderella.
Also, just a very weird performance from her. It's sort of Blue Jasmine light.
It is very nervy.
And you're just like, why?
Yeah. Big failure.
Yeah.
2015's Manifesto is interesting. I've never actually seen what it ultimately is, which is an art installation in which she portrays 13 roles. There was a movie version of it that was made available. It might actually still be on Amazon. It's not so much a movie as it is a performance piece, but it's a cool thing to cite. It's going to be read. 2017 Song to Song, she plays Amanda. It's also a Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah.
And did you play Kate in this movie?
We're looking for positive Amanda representation wherever we can get it.
Where else have you seen it recently?
I mean, that's the issue. It's primarily...
What do you think's going on there?
It's really tough. It's like a lot of Bachelor contestants. You know, enough that it has to be like Amanda C, Amanda W, Amanda K. So,
tough.
You know.
It's really tough.
We've got Amanda Pete, and we've got...
She's good. I like her.
I guess we've got this character named Amanda.
We've got the 2022 Carolina Cavalli masterpiece, Amanda.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was like a real step forward in Amanda presentation. There's a good Waylon Jennings song.
Okay.
Amanda. Okay, that's what we have. I don't think this has to go in, but I appreciate it.
2017 Thor Ragnarok.
I do like this.
I don't think it has to go in.
I don't either. We've got Hannah.
Let's yellow it. She's good. She's good as Hela, Thor's sister.
Definitely when I woke up in the movie.
This movie is good. I know that everybody is like Taika sucks now and Jojo Rabbit is terrible and all that. I thought it was funny then. I think it's funny now.
I go to the movies and it holds my attention or it doesn't. And when Cate Blanchett's like on that moor just being like, I'm evil, I'm just like, all right, I'm having fun. And she wears a headpiece.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more.
I liked it.
2018's Ocean's 8.
No.
What happened here?
They didn't get Steven Soderbergh.
Gary Ross directed this movie.
Why?
Produced by Steven Soderbergh.
Well, sure. And that was nice of Steven. But
Anne Hathaway cooked.
Amazing. Really funny.
So good.
Yeah.
Who's the other lead? She's paired. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
How did this movie not work? What happened? It's okay. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible, but I would have liked to have Soderbergh.
You're probably right. It is missing some flair.
Yeah.
Ocean's 8 is out. The House with a Clock in Its Walls has its fans. Eli Roth movie, kids movie.
Okay.
Good movie if you're into like spooky houses and Jack Black.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's a Hall of Famer for Cate Blanchett.
Have you watched it in the home yet?
No, it's way too early for that.
Oh, okay.
It's too scary for that. 2018's Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, is an adaptation of the Jungle Book,
mm-hmm.
the Rudyard Kipling book. And I believe it's directed by Andy Serkis. And she plays Kaa. And if my memory serves, Kaa is a snake.
Okay. So I bet she would be really good at that.
Just some more cool shit she's doing with her voice. She's now voice acted in a motion capture jungle movie, in a Miyazaki movie, in a How to Train Your Dragon film, and in a Stanley Kubrick movie. Using that voice for good. Mowgli is red. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World from 2019. This is the third film.
Oh, wow.
In the HTTYD series.
Okay.
Which you'll soon be getting up to speed on in Las Vegas.
Great.
She once again returns as Valka. I think Valka's a dragon.
Is that where the dragon's living in the hidden world after?
Valka is married to Smaug.
Okay.
That's not true. Red. 2019, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? We did a whole episode about this movie.
We liked that. Again, we liked that they tried. We liked that everyone tried.
A real old school misfire.
Yeah. We liked that Linklater tried.
Yeah.
We liked that she tried. Reunited with Billy Crudup, if memory serves. He tried.
Yeah. Kristen Wiig, she tried.
Yeah. She's always trying.
Stop being mean to Kristen Wiig.
It's just not. It's black licorice. It's just not my flavor. But like, I can identify patterns, you know?
Okay.
And the pattern is when she's trying, I'm not buying.
2021, Don't Look Up.
She's lights out good in this, but we don't have room for it.
She's playing who?
She's
Megyn
one of
Kelly?
the morning show. Yeah.
Basically, a morning show host on a political cable channel.
Yeah.
Who slips into an affair with a rumpled climatologist portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sure.
Preposterous movie. neither as bad nor as people will tell you, nor as good as it was meant to be. That's my take on it. Always kind of mixed on this movie.
But, it's a true ensemble movie. And
It
so her scenes are dynamite.
She's very, very funny. Them together in bed is great stuff.
Yeah.
But it's red. 2021 Nightmare Alley, directed by Guillermo del Toro, Best Picture nominee. She portrays Dr. Lilith Ritter.
Yeah.
Playing, once again, a kind of Barbara Stanwyck, Veronica Lake, femme fatale figure. Ida Lupino, maybe an inspiration for this part. She's amazing in this movie.
She's very, very good. It was the part of the movie that I really liked because it was separate from the carnival.
Remember her office?
Beautifully. The production design.
It's Ada's world.
Fantastic. She's great. Sometimes movies kind of use her as like an art piece almost. Like there is something like sort of sculptural to her look, and that is such a very specific, visually designed movie. And she is like doing her shtick. So
she has that purring voice.
Yeah, she's great, and she can do it, and I have no objection to it. But I don't think it needs to go in.
Okay, Nightmare Alley's red. 2022 Tar.
Green.
What key is that?
I don't know. I don't have perfect pitch.
Hard to believe. Tar is, of course, magnificent.
I'm not musically inept. I thought that was a weird side swipe.
What do you mean?
I just don't have perfect pitch. Does Lydia Tarr have perfect pitch?
One would hope.
Yeah.
One would hope, given her status as a world-class conductor.
Yeah.
Felled by cancel culture. Tar is amazing. Tar. I want to do a rewatch pod about Tar. We haven't done a rewatch this March. We always do a rewatch. I don't know if you realize that.
Oh, that's right.
I think Tar is fabulous and so fun.
When is that on the schedule?
It's not on the schedule.
Oh yeah, can we do it as one of the? Okay, we'll discuss.
Okay.
I feel like Tar though. Have we ever done a movie that good?
Yeah, Babylon.
Okay, but
Hell
there's
yeah,
a lot of
I see you, buddy.
Yeah. There's a lot of. I think I was so pregnant when we did that, and that was like.
Yeah, we did Free Guy. That was good. We did.
Oh no, I was really pregnant for that, but I was also pregnant for Babylon, and it was like hour 3.
We did the Snyder Cut. That was really good.
Yeah. We did
Famously,
Dark Knight Rises.
That podcast file was too long for me to upload, so I had to lower the quality so that people could hear it.
Yeah, just like Zack Snyder did when he expanded the cut to 4 hours.
Dark Knight Rises was good. That was fun.
Dark Knight Rises, that one was very funny.
Yeah.
Did that in Bill's old office.
I remember.
And we did Tenet as well, did we not?
Yes. And that was so confusing at the end.
Yeah. For you, but not for me.
Okay.
The real Tenet knower. We don't have one on the schedule.
Okay.
Tar's
a masterpiece.
Masterful. Todd Field is writing the script to the next Martin Scorsese movie. Did you see this report?
No. Wow. I listen. Until stuff's in production, like I love Marty. Marty, keep doing Marty. Like I can't get my heart wrapped up in it,
Okay. 2022, she's used her voice once again.
Yeah.
She stars as Spazzatura in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Right. Is she a fascist?
I believe she is.
Yeah.
So you say yes, going in?
No.
Auto green?
No.
That's a red. The School for Good and Evil. She also lends her voice to this film.
Mm-hmm.
She plays the story in.
Okay.
Not going in. 2023 is The New Boy.
Yeah.
Which is one of your favorite movies of that year, as I recall. Was it number 3 on your list? The New Boy is actually not available to be seen in the United States.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen it, so.
It's a story about a 9-year-old Indigenous Australian boy.
Okay.
And she has a supporting part in the film.
If I had gone to Cannes, I could have seen it.
Well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. That's how life goes.
Okay.
2024's Rumors. This is the new Guy Madden political satirical comedy.
Okay.
About the G6 meeting of world leaders getting lost in the woods.
Okay.
I thought it was very bad.
I did not see this because I was born like a week before. And I didn't visit.
Is he a big Guy Madden fan? Cy? No. That's his favorite one. 2024's Borderlands. Arguably the biggest bomb of 2024.
Yeah. Tough break.
Not a good movie.
No, not going in.
Not going in.
Yeah.
2025 Black Bag.
Well, we already we have 10, right, Bob?
I think we have 11. We have 10 or 11.
I think we only have 10.
I'll also add in 2024 she made Disclaimer.
Right.
With Alfonso Cuarón. I completed 3 episodes of that series and stopped watching it.
I completed none, but I listened to the watch, so I know what happens.
Also a literary adaptation. She's had many of those in her career. Cuarón among the finest filmmakers she's ever worked with. Largely the reception of that show is, what is this?
Yeah.
We got to just stop making TV shows.
I'm with you.
Why did Alfonso Cuarón spend 3 years making this show?
I am with you. And you did also,
I love Alfonso Cuarón.
You texted me after seeing Black Bag and were like, this is perfect. We don't make a TV show. All we need are 90-minute movies.
I thank you for pointing that. I forgot to say that, which is like every TV show is trying to do what that movie pulls off in 93 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, you've heard that rant before. I hate it.
I agree.
I hate it. The elongation of stories is so annoying to me.
Preach.
Okay.
You know?
We should have led with like, this movie's 93 minutes.
Well.
Black Bag, I don't think it's going to go down in the history books as one of her greatest parts. She's actually really more of a supporting character in this movie than she is the star. She's very good. I would say it is really more Michael Fassbender's movie.
Mm-hmm. And an ensemble. So
it is. Let's read it.
Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. All right. That's fine.
We can yellow it if you want. We have a lot of yellows to go through here too. Let's go back to the beginning. Right now we've got Oscar and Lucinda as a yellow. That's going red. I don't know. We can't make space for that. No offense to Gillian Armstrong. The greens as of now are Elizabeth, The Talented Mr. Ripley, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Aviator, Notes on a Scandal, I'm Not There, Hannah, Carol, and Tar. The existing yellows are The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, Blue Jasmine, Cinderella, and Thor Ragnarok. Many will look at this list and say, Hannah over Blue Jasmine?
Once again.
If it happens, it will be because of you.
Well, that's most things on this podcast and in life.
Everything that is ugly, cruel, stupid, and especially ugly is your fault.
Okay. I think that we already have one Oscar-winning film. I mean, do you want to do Blue Jasmine instead of The Aviator?
No.
Okay, I don't either. Why can't we just do what we want? We can.
It's an amazing question. You don't live in a free society. We do not.
In this podcast and in this exercise, we can do whatever the hell we want. Why is that so scary to you? Why is it always, why can't you just embrace exactly what you want?
I'm a man of honor. I have a code. I live by a code. That code has created an incredible structure to this conversation.
Is that the thing? That you just...
Do I not know what I want?
That you're uncertain?
Is there a person who knows more what he wants than me in the known universe?
Yes, so...
Maybe, but barely. I don't think...
I mean,
the Hannah choice is logical.
Make the case. Go ahead. I don't care about logic. This is an expression
It's an irrelevant thriller. It's the 4th best Joe Wright movie. She's the 3rd lead at best in the movie. And it's a underwritten villain part. She has tremendous presence.
Would you like to do Cinderella instead of Hannah?
No.
Okay.
They're the same movie.
Would you like to do Thor Ragnarok instead of Hannah?
No.
So you don't want to honor...
There are 3 villain parts that are fun, but are like minor compared to a movie like Blue Jasmine that sits on her shoulders.
But they represent something that she does very well throughout her career that we like. As opposed to Blue Jasmine, sure, the movie sits on her shoulders. The movie's fine. She's good. But like people have breakdowns, you know, the mascara is running down her face. Like whatever.
That can't be your case against Blue Jasmine.
You're like standing on procedure a little bit too much, you know? And I think that's boring. Also, I have to be honest, if it's Blue Jasmine, then we have there's nothing interesting in this list. This is so predictable. We didn't have to have a conversation.
That's not really how it works here.
Okay. Well, but I'm just
we had a whole conversation about Middle Earth and we're in the timeline that exists. That was all relevant.
Listen, because I come prepared and I ask questions, you know?
So definitely. That's exactly why it happens.
Always create.
Fully.
I can, engage on any topic. But It's boring. I think it's boring to do Blue Jasmine instead of Hannah. You can do something else if you want, but we don't need Blue Jasmine.
Okay, you can have your way.
Like, I don't want it like that. That's not how I like to win. Make your decision. You do it. You decide.
You've already made your mind up.
I have made my mind up, but I'm letting you conclude it.
No, thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Great.
It makes your mania just a little bit more noticeable if I just pull back. That's my secret weapon in these conversations. The Cate Blanchett Hall of Fame,
yes,
is as follows: Elizabeth, The Talented Mr. Ripley, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, The Aviator, Notes on a Scandal, I'm Not There, Hannah, Carol, and Tar.
Great.
She is the supporting character in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these movies.
Well,
You feel okay about that?
I do.
Okay.
Because we have Tar and Elizabeth and
Mhm.
Carol. And I mean, I guess she's a supporting character and I'm Not There, but like we have I'm Not There.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's not numbers on a clock for me. It's the impact of the performance.
So because you don't believe in category fraud either.
No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have a really strong point of view. I'm really, really happy for you. This is a great lineup.
Okay.
Great job.
Yeah, good job, Cate Blanchett.
She's a wonderful actor. I highly encourage people to see Black Bag.
1,000%.
Bob, you saw it. What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome. It just wasn't trying to be more than it was. You know when you get like an awesome chicken parm with perfectly cooked pasta and you're just like, I'm not striving for more than this, but this is the best execution of this? That's how I felt about it.
I fully agree. As a chicken parm fanatic, it's an apt comparison. Let me ask you a quick question about that. I know you don't rate movies.
Yeah.
But if you were going to rate Black Bag,
Yeah.
do you think about what Bob is describing, which is a movie that sort of has a clear intention, that is not trying to be more than it is, which I think is actually quite admirable. I think the problem is when something's trying to be something and it can't be it or doesn't know how to be it.
Yeah.
But is there a ceiling on that in terms of how you would rate it? Like, can a movie like this only be an 8?
Well,
even though you love it?
As you know, I don't like to think in those in terms.
I'm challenging that construct.
Well, but you're challenging it. But my answer to you is, that is why I think that your rating system is imperfect and doesn't reflect my view of the world.
Okay.
Because I think that we need a system that I don't know. I do think that doing the job that you set out to do and landing the plane is an extremely important part of any artistic endeavor. And as you know, I tend to weight it. Like if you tried something big and you did not land the plane, hello, the brutalist, I have some questions. Whereas if you are very clear on what you want to do and you do land the plane, I tend to value that more. But am I going to tell you that Black Bag is like better, quote unquote, than the brutalist? I don't know. They're two different systems.
Okay. Thanks to our producer, Bobby Wagner, for his work on today's episode. Thanks to John Richter for filling in for Jack Sanders. We'll be back next week to talk about a movie that I'm sure will be equal to, if not stronger than Black Bag. I'm talking about The Electric State, which is going to be on the Netflix service.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to watch it there.
Yes.
Not at the 70mm festival. You're not going to wait.
No.
Okay. We'll also talk about movies we missed so far this year.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're going to catch up on?
I'm going to see EFIS.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm excited about.
Yeah. You love baseball.
I do love baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check that out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see Novocaine.
I'm going to see Novocaine tomorrow.
Okay.
I can tell you all about it.
I have a passport appointment for my child, so.
Okay.
And both parents have to go,
I'm aware of this.
So I'm trying to think what else. I've seen some things.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about Opus. I'm excited about that. We're going to talk
Opus,
about
yeah.
The Last Breath, which I have seen.
Oh, okay.
We're
I
gonna.
think it's just Last Breath.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
Okay.
Lose the it's cooler.
Anything else that you want to throw in the mix?
There's a part of me that wants to have Chris and I describe The Gorge to you.
Oh, I was gonna watch it, but I shouldn't watch it. You guys can just
Maybe
explain
we'll
it to me.
describe The Monkey to you.
Oh yeah.
You've seen The Gorge, Bob?
The Gorge rocks.
Okay.
I loved it.
One of the
I
worst.
had such a fine time.
Just a horrendous take. I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
You don't
Bob.
want to look at Anya Taylor-Joy's face? Like, that's the whole plot of the movie.
I assure you it is not. There's
Also,
a lot of plot in that
I've watched
movie.
a lot of movies at this point where the whole plot is look at Anya Taylor-Joy's face, and it is very beautiful and captivating.
Still working.
For me, it has limited returns.
That's fair.
Whole bunch of other movies. I'll think of some others. I forget what they are. We'll see you then.